All right, fantastic. I take this quick opportunity to welcome everybody to the Independent Investor Channel live stream. My name is Ryan. I see a lot of staples in the community here, man. Just great to see everybody again. Just a further validation for me that we're further in the conversation on this wealth building for the long term, no doubt about it. Topic tonight centers around investing made easy. And the easier we make this thing, the more applicable it's going to be for the masses. And I don't do these live streams for any other reason than to reach the masses. All right. So the message that we have to throw down and put out there has to be applicable to the masses. And just had some great conversation behind the scene, man. I opened myself up a little bit before the live stream. So if it's not something that you're interested in going live with me, I always do open it up, and haven't had a whole lot of people take advantage of it up till now. But I glanced at my computer and I saw a couple folks in there, man, and it was pretty awesome. Folks that I know by thumbnail alone, but when you pop in and you say hello, it's amazing how much more personable it is. When you can sit in the studio with me and talk, and make no mistake, man, that's kind of what we're looking to get down to, because the broad concepts in the stock market, you can sit across from and you can be like, wow, this is pretty cool. Try to bring home the idea of long-term investing, long-term passive investing as being the absolute key. The reason why I reemphasize that all the time on the channel is because I think there's a lot of excitement surrounding investing right now. I think there's multiple reasons as to why that is the way that it is. I think the emergence of a lot of the apps that you can download and get immediate access to the stock market, the reduction of fees to zero certainly has leveled the playing field for a lot of investors. The emergence of my topic, man, the idea of taking control of your own personal wealth. And I do contend that that's the best way of wealth building. And every person that comes in that's been following my channel for a while, that is saying, hey, thanks, Ryan, I really appreciate it. You know, I was a mess before. You've kind of elevated the importance of the investing topic and increased my awareness to the stock market. You've increased my money aptitude. And that's really the key. I just want to make sure that people understand the key takeaway in stock market success is not to get caught up in the short-term stuff. You know, if you're looking to lose 10 pounds and you're looking to go on a diet, you're not going to be able to jump on the scale and just automatically validate your program and get excited. You got to put yourself on a plan. And that's the whole key. I think a lot of people will get caught up, and there's a lot of discussion about trend investing now and investing in trends. And that's all great and plenty. I always contend that the bottom line is, in fact, money. I really do. So congratulations to all you Facebook investors out there, all you investors in Amazon and Apple. Absolutely just blew it away. One of my stocks that you can just buy and own forever. No doubt about it. Don't make this gig more difficult than it needs to be. And if you're constantly buying into what all the analysts are saying about you feel in your heart is right, I contend Apple's one of the easiest companies to own. I really do. And I would put Facebook up there with it as well. Definitely Apple more on the value play, and Facebook more on the growth and value play. But in either case, man, the landscape, the world that we're living in is changing. And I think it really is, it's imperative that we all stay dynamic. We all stay flexible. We all realize that whenever some level of euphoria sets into the market, that the folks that are prepared for the market's inevitable will be better served for it. And I'm not a doom and gloom guy. I think investing for the long term is really the key to any level of success in the market. There's no way that you are going to look at your portfolio from day to day and say, this is the greatest thing I've ever done. As a matter of fact, it may be the contrary. You may look at investing on a day to day or week to week, and you may be thinking to yourself, this is just not worth it. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm not making this 30% a week. I don't get why I'm doing this. And you're not going to find that short-term validation in investing if you're doing it correctly. You're not. And it's super, super important to not get caught up in that. And it's just like anything else in life. I really want to make sure that you guys are maintaining the right level of focus, because if you've put some years together in this gig, now there's a fair assessment. For example, if you've got 10 years minimum in the investing game and you look at it from when you started to where you are now, I think if you did it with any level of discipline at all, you're probably in a better place 10 years after starting than you were at the beginning of your investing career. But any time along that, you could have, gone through downturns in the market. You could have gone through volatile times in the market, and maybe even gone so far as to talk yourself off of the stock market. People do it all the time. People go through different mental deliberations as to, why it's so abnormal to invest, how they're overextended, how they can use the money in another capacity, right? And it all speaks to the investor's psychology and their approach to the market. And that psychology and approach in way of your plan really needs to be the strong point. And that's why I tend to keep the focus more on the discipline than I do the day-to-day stocks. Now, I know the day-to-day stocks, man, it sells views, and that's all great. I know everybody's excited about Amazon and Apple with the stock split announcement. I think it's great. I think it's about time. I don't think it's been a better time or a more exciting time to be a technology investor. I've been very, very adamant about it being my favorite topic, actually, in the stock market. I've made probably more money with technology than any other sector. And, we've got some killer folks in the audience tonight that would agree with that. And, a lot of top holdings in a lot of portfolios, man, are Amazon, Apple, Microsoft. Some portfolios on YouTube do hold Amazon in a very, very high percentage of the portfolio. I think Amazon would be the one I'd be the most cautious about. I really would. And do I want to buy Apple right here, Microsoft? I don't know. I think to each his own as far as that goes. I actually took trading profit in Apple, for example, at 393, and I was going to re-enter the position at 370. I just got caught up in life, and I didn't have time to re-enter it. And kind of blew away the numbers. And that's what happens with a great company. There's no two companies like it. So, for you guys that have been around this group, we revolve around these good quality companies more often than not. And I think from an awareness perspective, if you did have any exposure to those companies, even JMac Investing, man, my brother from another mother, I see him on the bottom here. He popped in. Very cool to see you. So welcome to JMac as well. I know JMac was holding the triple Qs as well. And, what a great call on the emergence of technology and its influence on our life right now. And I think this pandemic has probably brought out the very best in technology. That's what I've been able to notice on the last 3 months or 4 months or so, kind of relying on tech more. And it's been very, very exciting, no doubt about it. I certainly own the big companies through the multiple other conduits, right? The Vanguard's technology ETF, I do own there. If you do own the S&P 500 right now, it's becoming so heavily weighted to where you can almost look at a triple Q with some of their diversified holdings in there and almost really justify just going ahead and looking at that as a much more viable product. It's run up, but I like the NASDAQ triple Qs. I'm looking at it here. I'd like to see a little bit of adjustment back. I don't think you need to trip over yourself to rush into these. I think some starter positions, certainly if you're looking to get some exposure to technology, Apple will be one of those stocks that you can buy and own forever, right? So when I said that 2-3 years ago, it's applicable just today as it was then. The difference was it was trading at 13 times at the time I recommended it. Now we're looking at the stock over $400. trading at its most premium valuation. But is it justified? I think it may be. It's an exciting time to be an investor. There's no doubt about it. There's never been a more exciting time for me to foster an audience like you guys and help each other out. And if you guys do want to kick some individual ideas my way, don't hesitate, because this on the live stream, I've got to keep flowing. I do want to get to the many channel creators that are in here, as well as a lot of the subscribers, and get to some of your questions. I do have Junior, who's been gracious enough. He popped on here, as well as a couple other guests, man, before the live stream. Had some killer conversations, and just further validates that this information in the willing to deploy hands is powerful. And there's no doubt about it. In one word, man, that's what it means: empowered. I don't know, some of these channel creators in the group. I see Dan with Ethos Investing, man. It's great to see you. Awesome folks, man. And the Jason I've already mentioned, they would agree with me. This information in the right hands is absolutely, it's empowering. And empowering means you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for me. You're not doing it for your friends or your family, man. You're doing it for you. And for those people out there who think that that's greedy or self-serving, I disagree. I really do. I just think that personal finance needs to have more of a priority in your day-to-day life, and we provide that awareness for sure, and opportunity through the stock market, man, to build personal wealth for you and your families, man. So I'm going to cruise to the top here and try to actually get. So the Rich Gang is in the group, man, and they're always good at facilitating the conversation. The upload schedule on the Independent Investor channel has obviously taken a little bit of I've taken a little bit of a break, a much needed break, I might add. I've been focusing on my career, actually, which this is not my career. So please understand that. We'll re-engage as appropriate as we get back into the groove a little bit, but taking kind of a well-deserved break of creating content. So got all good in the group. It's great to see you as well. One of the absolute staples in the community. And make no mistake, for you guys that are making your way to the Independent Investor channel live stream for the first time, this is absolutely a community. We're stronger together, each deploying individual strategies, but individual strategies that are all aimed at wealth building for you and your families. I think is awesome. You get to come on here, share some ideas, kick around some ideas where people are working. I will tell you, I'm putting some cash aside right now. If you want to know a little bit of my insight, I've taken the taxable brokerage down just a touch, and that's fine. Put some cash on the side a little bit. The two cross currents that I'm looking at right now: an election in less than 100 days, and the more bigger concern that I have with regard to the effect on the real economy that this thing has put us through. Specifically to the amount that the Fed has actually borrowed, the trillions of dollars is concerning. It's not a positive to the market, and don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but that's just part of my thought process for raising a little bit of cash right here, while seemingly everybody is just riding the tech bubble onto the horizon. Kyle's going to hate the fact that I said tech bubble. Because he thinks that these valuations are absolutely justified 100%. And they may very well be. The times really are changing. And there really is some discussion about just how valuable these companies are. And it's exciting. It's exciting to provide yourself the opportunity to participate in these great companies. And we'll continue to monitor them. Apple's not going anywhere. Neither is Amazon. It'll be interesting to see when the stock splits take effect, and probably put me up over way over one share of Amazon in my aggressive growth portfolio in M1 Finance. So that'll be fun to watch anyway. But I got AK in the group, man. Very cool. You got Randy, retire with options. Great to see you, Randy. I appreciate you making your way in here. He says the Rich Gang, baby. I don't know. What makes a person rich? I throw that out there rhetorically. I think we need to keep this investing opportunity in check a little bit for sure. I think building wealth can be a lot easier than people think that it is. So when you do build some wealth, some personal wealth in whatever form that you choose, whether it be precious metals or stock or real estate or maybe even a little bit of cryptocurrency, it is just that. It's a stored form of value. It doesn't make you any more or less of a human being. Okay. Just remember that was what I do contend with, man. If we're going to live this life, we might as well have rather than have not. All right. So if it's your first time to the channel, man, jump aboard. Let's get on wealth building for you. And we'll find out a way to do it. All right, very cool. I got Brent in the house, man, with financial investor. So he's eating some chickpea salad, man. That's pretty healthy. All right. It's on the health food tip. Very cool. So he's investing in his health, which is probably right up there in significance in your life for sure. Got to keep the focus on it. Mr. Odell's in the group. Hope all is well, man. Hope all is well. It's great to see you. Thank you for making your way on. It's awesome to see you. And let me, is anyone concerned about the civil unrest in big cities and election? Yeah, I am. I'm disappointed, to be honest with you. And this is a live stream discussion. You guys don't tune into me to, hear me blah, blah about what I don't believe. I'm disappointed. I've never been to Minneapolis, but pretty disappointing, how much good came out of it. I don't know. I don't get to make that call. I am entitled to my opinion, and I just think for the most part, I'm fairly disappointed with what's going on. I'm from Oregon, so to watch what's going on in Portland, Oregon is somewhat alarming to me. I have family there in the city, and not a big fan to see that type of thing. I'm just not a big fan. And I know the event that spurred it off. I don't want to get too political, but I have read the speech, I Have a Dream. And if you're interested in what Martin Luther King actually did stand for, read the speech. If you haven't, go back and read it. And what's going on right now wasn't what he was talking about in the speech, man. So anyway, yeah, no, I do think there's some cross currents going on. I think there's some cross currents going on actually in the market itself. I think with tech running away and providing this little dab of bubble, I think value is kind of getting pummeled. This was the first day that the market was actually up positive, and I was actually down in the portfolio. Very rarely does that happen. And it was because of my exit of some of the big tech positions in Amazon, etc. But I don't know if that's a positive or a negative. We really do need to have some more depth and breadth to this market. But like I mentioned, the election around the corner does have me a little bit interested. It has me paying attention. Am I acting irrational? No, I'm just acknowledging that it's there. And as a steward of the game, I do pay attention to that type of stuff. So, but anyway, I'm going to continue to work down my list here, man. We've got a ton of people here. I'm going to go ahead and bring Junior on to help with the conversation for sure. And Junior, you got me? How's the audio?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. Once you enlighten all these people about how you're killing it with all your tech plays, man. Very cool.
Well, first off, I'd like to thank you for having me on tonight. So cheers to you. Cheers to everybody on the live stream tonight.
You're not drinking microbrew tonight? What's
up
with that?
I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to take it, with summer beer. This is the summer beer that you can never go wrong with. So I'm going to take it easy with the Corona tonight.
Life is good, man. You work hard and play hard, man, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's my pleasure. It's an open door policy, man, on my channel. This is just an opportunity for people to get together and talk about stocks and wealth building. Pretty simple. Yeah. And, you've been doing that. Give me a little insight, Junior, on what you think about if you're satisfied with the performance of the portfolio. There's been a pretty good hiccup this year, back in March. How do you feel like the portfolio's performed? Are you happy with it? And are you happy to be an investor is kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited, and especially me starting. For those that don't know, I just started investing October of 2019. So when I started investing, I was in that bull market where stocks were going, obviously parabolic, and then obviously with the pandemic, when everything went crashing down. But before that even happened, I was reading books, back in September, October of Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Jack Bogle,
Mhm.
for Vanguard. And then I just started listening to videos, and then I wasn't worried at all. And, even when the market crashed, I didn't even buy. I just held. I didn't do anything. I didn't sell anything. And then now, I'm up. Facebook, I'm up, 30%. Because I had bought it back in January before the crash, and
Yeah.
it's looking good. I love what Mark's doing. If anybody didn't see the hearing that Facebook, Amazon, Google, and Apple had on Wednesday, it was actually pretty interesting. From my opinion, I feel like Mark Zuckerberg was the only one that was kind of really direct with the congressman, as everybody was, kind of treading lightly. So it was interesting, but
I
you know,
saw the first time. I saw the first time Mark went before the committee, and I thought he was excellent then. He didn't get very good marks. I thought he was excellent. I thought he challenged it. He kind of comes across like, you know what? I'm kind of the smartest guy here, so you can kind of hit me with whatever you'd like. But this is my baby, which I don't know if we would approach it the same way, but it's easy to sit there and criticize.
Mhm.
But you know,
And
he
he's
did
30,
invent the company, man.
30.
You know?
That's insane. Like, if you really think about it, like, he's young compared to all these other CEOs that are, obviously a lot older. And I just love the way that Facebook is handling. I saw Kyle's comment with, Facebook. I'm with you, brother. With anybody else that has Facebook, hold. Don't sell out. Just hold. I'm telling you, you're gonna
No,
see a lot more in the years to come.
no, Facebook's a money-making juggernaut, and it's one of those that's in a rare category of growth and value. It's really not that expensive of a stock.
No,
Comparatively speaking, I want to make sure that people aren't lumping these FANG stocks all into one category because they are drastically different. And where an Amazon might be okay for a Matt Money, all right, it might not be the best name for everybody out there to jump in right here. Now, valuing a company like Amazon is very, very difficult. They kind of broke the mold for business expansion because they reinvest everything back into their business. I actually thought Jeff Bezos did a phenomenal job. He rarely does that, actually. He very rarely makes himself that available for that extent of a time. I like Amazon. I think it's great. I think the stock split is exciting. I think it's a little bit overblown. I think new investors typically get a little bit more excited than they need to be because technically nothing changes. Psychologically, things do change. Okay, so I'm certain that stewards of the game would want to argue with me on that, but it's just typically true. When you look historically at how stock splits are received by the investing community, if you're looking at Apple at $100, it just looks a little bit different than Apple at 400.
oh, yeah.
So it does tend to induce some buying activity, and with Apple's robust buyback schedule, I mean, that's what they've been aggressively doing over the last 5 years. And I thought they were overdue for a stock split, to be honest with you. And I think the timing is well timed. I really do. But I don't know if I'm going to get my re-entry back into the stock. That's for sure. We'll see. We'll see what happens, man.
Yeah.
Investing is awesome. You win some, you lose some, and I've lost most of the time with Apple. I don't think I've owned the stock and ever lost money with Apple. That's a bold statement, but that's a pretty powerful statement for anybody out there that's like new to the investing game and they're like, I'm really afraid of making money. I've owned Apple, geez, maybe 50 times. It would have probably just been the better just to hold it, but for the times that I sold and took profit and the stock does end up retracing back, that's a good thing. Because I've saved money on the downside. And I was going to re-enter the stock at 370, man. You guys are probably like, yeah, right, Ryan, whatever, but it's like, hey, I live to fight another day. And anytime you sell Apple specifically, that's been always the one that I always sell and I regret it. That's why when it dropped at 370, I sold at the right time. But see, now it's a bad swing trade, right? Even though I rendered some pretty good profit. But I just love the company, man. I really do. I love all the big tech right here. Netflix is one that I don't think belongs in that premium discussion. That's the only one that makes me a touch nervous.
Well,
But
I know people are worried, obviously worried about Netflix because of how much cash that they are burning,
burning, sure.
with the with all the original content that they have. I mean, personally, when I watch, I'll go on Netflix. I'm like, this is too much too much shows. I'm like, but I mean, but Netflix for the long run, it's going to be okay. So people that are worried about it, I think it's going to be fine. You just gotta, people just have to be patient, right? Just that's the name of the game here. Patient, hold it, and if but never apologize if you take profits, and no one's ever gonna,
I'm
beat you.
apologizing. I'm apologizing, Junior. I deserve to be beat, man. I
No,
really do. I'm not practicing what I'm preaching here.
yeah.
No, I just, yeah, it wasn't about selling Apple as far as a standalone decision based on Apple. It was a portfolio move. Okay.
Mhm.
So let me get into a little bit more advanced portfolio management as opposed to just outright taking stock profit and living to fight another day. The move was right. I just didn't re-enter. I really didn't have time to re-enter the name. That was the problem.
Yeah.
But the environment now is not great. We still do stand a chance of having some economic problems with what we've been through,
Yeah.
and if people don't think that that's true, I think you need to pay a little bit more attention to how much people are suffering. Lots of people are without work. A lot of people are suffering making payments. And this has been great to watch tech kind of carry the market. I'm seeing certain stocks emerge that are certainly catching a trend wave, no doubt about it. And I think, it's nice to see that Robinhood's number one stock that was bought today was Apple Computers.
Oh, it's not worth.
That's FOMO buying right there. All right, Apple historically has provided you a lot better optimal entry points than its all-time high. So
Yeah.
if you think that somehow this is going to be different and the stock's going to be at 600, next week, I would rather bet on historical precedents and trading at yes, all-time highs, but a valuation that's historically high price to
Yeah.
itself.
And they have a lot
Just
of
be
cash
careful.
too, right? In their balance sheet, a lot of cash, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Apple's always maintained a huge, huge cash balance. And part of the reason why I like Apple so much is their financial strength. And, a lot of people knock Apple for needing to remain valid on the innovation side of the house. But man alive, man, that services business is powerful. That's a $30 billion business in and of itself. So
And then
I,
that too now. They're not just like, when growing up, yeah, I feel so old when I say this. Well, back in like
you're younger
2000,
than me. You're younger than me. Come on,
yeah, I
man.
know. Back in 2007 and 8, I've always looked at Apple as, just the iPhones, but they're obviously just more than that. They're so diverse. They got a streaming service now with Apple TV, their cloud service. It's
Yeah,
just Apple's just the way to go. I don't own Apple personally, but it's right up there with Microsoft, obviously the top two companies in the US right now.
yeah,
So can't go
yeah.
wrong. And anybody that has it, hold on, take your profits. Don't have to apologize. Fintech is killing it. I have PayPal. I'm up 80, I think 82% right now after earnings on Wednesday. So
PayPal, I've made a small fortune. I don't know. I'd have to check the aggressive portfolio, but it's done very, very well for me. Very well.
yeah,
I don't know if I'm quite up 80%. Last I checked, I might have been like 60 or so. But
yeah,
Visa is the big one. That's the big holding I've got in the Roth. And then this one is a smaller position. But PayPal's been silently on fire.
yeah.
So can't argue with that.
Yeah, and I mean, I have other stocks that are still down, like Boeing. Of course, I bought it really high back in back in I think February at
Yeah.
330. But I'm gonna hold obviously Boeing. I'm in no rush. So yeah, like you said, I'm young, so I'm not going nowhere.
Lot of love in this group, man.
Hey, how
Lot,
you doing? I'm good.
yeah, lot of love.
Thank you.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the portfolio in general is pretty good. Have you added any new positions, Junior, by chance?
No, no, I haven't added any new positions. I've just been scaling a little bit. I haven't bought any of the big tech stocks like Facebook. I just held. But been buying a little bit of like Verizon or AT&T. Even though AT&T, the stock is not going to grow, but the dividend yield is still pretty good, between I think 6 or 7%. So just building from there. So that's what I've been doing, building more of the dividends um, for the long run. So
Man, I'm turning into a dating live stream, man. This is phenomenal. This is what's going to happen, man. It's going to catch fire and people are going to come in here and be like, man, this is a savvy group of a bunch of freaking financial gurus, man. This is where I want to be. Look at Matt Money, man.
it's crazy.
Fantastic. No, man, just a lot of love for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. All Good came on about a year, yeah, it was 8 months ago or so on the live stream and said hello. That was awesome, man. It's just awesome to have those spiritually strong people in the group for sure. And
Oh, that was actually the first.
so
I think when she came on, the last time she came on, that was actually the first time I ever came on the live stream. That's when he had Jamie on. Remember, you had Jamie on
yeah, yep.
all back. So
Yeah, seems like a while back. I
yeah,
don't know, man. I approach this live stream the same way I approach investing. I always kind of prepare mentally for it every week. And then when I throw down, I'm super happy and it goes by really fast. And then I move on to the next one. And
yeah.
I think I'm getting a little better. I went back and watched some of my first ones and it was pretty rough. That's for sure. But everybody starts somewhere. And
Oh yeah.
that's the cool part about it is I think this is just as good a topic as any to bring people together around. Man, I was kind of I'm pretty tired, man. I've worked really hard this week and I got to work tomorrow too. So I've been jamming pretty hard. But man, I had Adrian pop in. He's one of the subscribers. He's in the group now. And
Okay.
what a pleasure, man. I hear stories like that and it just energizes me for sure. Didn't really start investing that long ago and has built up an extremely sizable net worth. And that in and of itself is empowered as far as I'm concerned. And
That
if
patience,
we
you know. No, I didn't mean. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. I was gonna say, yeah, that's patience. Just sticking with the program. As far as dollar cost averaging, and just and even during this time, not now, but back in March when everything was going down and people were panicking, stayed in. That's the way to do it. You got to stay in.
there was people that sold, man.
Oh yeah. I know people personally that sold. For me, it was just like I prepared myself. I'm glad I read the books. I went to the library, and that's one thing people have to do. Just do research, right? If you're going to do individual stocks, do research, and you have to believe. If you look at the balance sheets, like Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, you have the playbook right there. They give you everything. You're good to go, right? You see more assets than liabilities. There's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
Winners.
I There's a comparison metric that I use in my broker too. It actually compares the company to the rest of the industry within
Mhm.
the sector. So that's pretty cool too. I like that. It's in the exact same tab as the balance sheet, cash flow, and
Yeah.
income statements. So it's in the exact same area when I go in to evaluate a stock. So it's kind of cool to see how a particular stock you're looking at stacks up against the rest of the sector specifically. And
Mhm.
I think the takeaway for a lot of people, man, I don't know who your broker is, Junior, but I get the most analytics from my broker.
Yeah.
I'll cross check it with Seeking Alpha, for example. But as far as the balance sheet, income, and cash flow, it's the same. It's the
Yeah.
exact same on Seeking Alpha. But there's just a few interesting things I like to look at on Seeking Alpha, especially the dividend scorecard, the dividend tab. I like that. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. But
Yeah, I like their format too. It breaks it down very simple, especially for like a beginner investor. I highly recommend Seeking Alpha. Yahoo Finance is good too. Maybe might be hard in the beginning, but just the best thing for anybody investing in individual stocks. Take a chance to look at the balance sheet, and then you'll be fine.
for
You know,
real,
and
you
just
see that? Look at this thumbnail, the
I
hunter.
I feel best in money.
Dude,
And
that's
money that
legit, man.
opens to happiness, though. Don't forget, people. Just the loved ones too. Always remember that. It's good to money is just a tool. That's how you allocate it. And obviously all of us are allocating into the stock market.
Yeah.
But the best thing of happiness is the loved ones. That's just my opinion, but loved ones, family, that's something money can't buy. So just always remember that, people.
Kind of speaks to the reason why you invest too, like if you're investing for money. I said this once before and everybody was like, well, why else would you invest, Ryan? And it's like, well, the older I get, the more I value the security that the wealth is creating.
Yeah, and we're doing something that, I mean, obviously we don't, the CEOs obviously have a lot more money, but we're doing the thing I like about investing is it's the easiest way to build wealth, right? Because the three things that you can build wealth in the United States is owning a business, real estate, and invest in the stock market. And all three things have in common. Well, sorry, my fingers were hiding. All three things have something in common, and that's passive income. And the stock market is the easiest way. I always feel like it's the easiest way for you to gain access to wealth, because the reason why I say that is because you don't have to have as much money to start off with, to build your wealth, and then you can learn, and then as time goes on, you keep adding more. Whereas real estate and owning a business, you need a little bit more capital.
Overhead.
And
overhead.
I mentioned this to you before, before we went on live, but I highly recommend people to watch Inequality for All. It's on Netflix, and it talks about the wealth gap between the middle class and the obviously the CEOs. And it's, tell this to any loved ones or friends and show them like the reality of how it's tough in the middle class. We bust our ass, we pay heavy in taxes, and we don't get nothing for it. And I watch a gentleman called Wall Street Trapper. If anybody's never seen him, he's got a YouTube channel, Wall Street Trapper. And I like his channel because it doesn't just talk about stocks. And you're like the same way too, Ryan. Like, it's not just about stocks, it's about fundamentals, and it's about, ways to win in the middle class. Because I hate when people say, oh, we're doomed, we're never gonna win. The middle class, we're doomed. We're not. It's just the information you have to get.
Here's the thing, man. Look at frame of mind, okay? I can build a perfect portfolio, if that exists, which I contend that it doesn't, and I give it to 100 investors. I guarantee there will be a certain percentage out of that 100 investors that fail.
Yep.
So you come back to me and tell me if that perfect portfolio, right? It's perfect. It's going to do what it is it's going to do. But by nature of the lack of discipline, psychology, application, a certain percentage of those investors will find a way to screw it up.
Yeah,
they really will. And so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that's why I think it's dangerous now with some of these new investors that are just, boom, trying to enter the stock market and not giving themselves a fighting chance to understand why they're doing it. It's setting yourself up for planned failure, and they may be picking the right stocks. They really will. But let's say they're FOMO buying Apple, and let's say Apple's at 3.5 in 2 months. Possibility? I don't know. I don't know. Now they're down huge on a position that they FOMO bought, and they weren't prepared to do so. If they hold the stock, that's the right thing. But my question is, rhetorically, are they going to have the discipline to hold that name through? When their expectation of the name was to enter into it at 425 and it was going to continue to skyrocket to the moon.
Well, like Warren Buffett says, never bet against America, meaning that if you have the top companies in your portfolio, hey, what's going on, J-Mac? Good evening to you, sir. Cheers to you, man. Never bet against America, right? If you really believe in the company, like I said, you did your homework, you have nothing to worry about. And I've been talking to my girlfriend, and in the future, not now, but in the future, we want to create a channel that gears towards more of the middle class, couples, people that might not be able to get this access of information, because there's good people that save money that are good with that, but they don't get that boost. And with the stock market, you get that boost. You can get that boost.
You got to
Yeah,
get into the schools, man. You got to get into the schools. You got to get into the education source, man,
yeah,
because I think conditioning a young mind to at least have an awareness about personal empowerment, and you can heavyweight that to budget and fiscal discipline and not needing everything under the sun, and especially not wanting to just pursue riches right out of the gate.
yeah,
You know, there's it's way more important to teach people about that initial $25 that they're going to put away for their financial future than starting a YouTube channel at 22, tripping and falling into their Ferrari. That it's way
yeah.
more important to teach them about the $25. Really is. You
And
know?
also, I know Cresta Fire is going to like this comment because she's really big in the Roth. Also, teaching young investors or anybody in general how important it is to have a tax protected account. And soon I'm going to switch over my traditional IRA to a Roth IRA to Fidelity. Right now, I have M1 Finance traditional.
Yeah.
I'm trying to save money for the taxes in the for the following year. I'm going to transfer over the traditional to the Roth and just keep averaging the 6,000 max, and not pay taxes when I get to 59 and a half. All those shares I accumulate, all those dividends. It's so important. And the problem with Robinhood is they don't have any IRAs. It's only taxable. And when you're selling within a week or two, not holding for long-term gains for a year, you're gonna have a huge tax bill. And we've talked about that too. That's the danger of
Yeah.
Robinhood. No IRAs, no tax protected account for these young adults. So,
Yeah, for real.
I mean, yeah.
I was talking to Adrian before I came live too about such an important aspect of investing is grabbing a hold of those things that you do in fact have control over.
Mhm.
And that's one of those few things. Like even if you make a great investment into an Apple Computers or a Facebook and the stock goes up, that's great. But there's no guarantee that that stock's going to go up. It could go down. In other words, you don't really control that. Okay? But what you do control is the nature by which you own the stock. In other
Mhm.
words, the account that it's held in. And that's what you're speaking about. All these people that are buying, FOMO buying, every one of those are being bought in a taxable account. So, my thing is if it does go to 500, right, what are you going to do? You're going to take profit? You're talking about short-term capital gains for folks that probably don't truly understand what their tax obligation is. Let's just be real. All they know is that it's super, super easy to pull the iPhone and just hit the sell button. And they're like, man, I'm the greatest investor ever. I just rendered $80 on my one share that I FOMO bought of Apple,
So,
and it's like, dude, you're missing the point a little bit. And, if the stock adjusts down to the 3.5, which is another realistic scenario, I haven't looked at the technicals on Apple, but I don't even know where support would be. It's run up just so parabolic. And let's say it ends up back at 350 2 months down the line. Are you going to continue to hold the shares long then too? Which is the right decision to do. But again, the ill-advised investor is probably going to talk themselves off of the name because it's not about the quality company anymore. It's about, oh my goodness, I screwed up 2 months ago. I need to fix my mistake. That's the human way. That's the human psyche. That's the way we think we have to deal with everything is manually, It's unfortunate.
And then just what I mentioned before, just follow the investors that have been successful. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett. I mean, there's obviously many others, and especially Warren Buffett. He's been investing for decades, and I'm talking about like one of the worst times to invest. Even this time obviously was tough in March because it was the fastest the S&P ever went down, right? 35% within like 22 days or something like that. But the thing is, like, just have to condition your mind, hold, and just also keep your mind off of something else too, right? Maybe a hobby, right? Hang out with loved ones, right? Friends, things of that nature. Because like you said, I enjoy the stock market. I talk about it a lot, but I don't want it to consume my life as well too. Because it's more important. It's that my lovely girlfriend, soon to be wife, down next door in the room. It's friends and family, people that are really there for you and genuinely love you. That's like I said, that's something that money can't buy. So
You pop the question, right?
no, not yet. Not yet.
I keep that to a dull roar, man. You said it first, man. I keep it to a roar, all right? Good luck to you, man. All
Thank
right.
you. Appreciate it.
I say, as far as that goes, man, it's the greatest investment I ever made in my life.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in the stock market that everything else fails in comparison to that investment. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things, you take that risk, and it's all about life, and all about the good things. Stock investing, yeah, it's fairly shallow. You do it, like you said, it's fairly easy to get going. The reason why I do it, I was interesting to hear your definition of passive income.
Mhm.
For me, man, it all comes down to allowing my money to work when I'm working.
Mhm.
That's it. That's what passive income means to me. Establishing a wealth bucket. And I don't know if there's anybody. Gen X is really, really good at it. Very, very strong portfolio in the assets bucket. But I got
Mhm.
to give Matt Money a really, really big shout out, because I don't know if there's anybody that I don't know if he realizes that I realize this about him when he declares his portfolio, but he's really trying to add a lot of diversity within the assets bucket. And I don't know if he's doing that consciously or subconsciously, or he's just an aggressive investor. I haven't really, I've talked to Matt offline many, many times, and I consider Matt a friend of the channel, a friend of mine, quite frankly. But what an awesome wealth builder, you
Yeah.
know, dabbling in other forms of, look how good silver and gold are doing right now.
Gold is
Look at cryptocurrency, which is not a topic that I typically revolve around on this channel.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of the idea. I think the technology is fabulous. I am indirectly invested in some cryptocurrency by owning,
Yeah.
IBM. So are you, by owning Facebook.
Mhm.
You don't think that these big companies are working on their own cryptocurrency? You're crazy.
Oh yeah.
It's here to stay. It is a stored form of value, and the ability to transact in a way that guarantees the integrity of a transaction, bro. We don't have that right now. Okay,
Mhm.
blockchain technology makes that happen. So if there's anybody in the group, you guys know that's not my core center of discussion on the Independent Investor channel, because it doesn't apply to the masses. Nor do I think that Bitcoin right now, in my opinion, has a real defined and consistent value set. In other words, how much Bitcoin am I going to spend when I go to Walmart and buy a gallon of milk? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I only raise that because it's like, look, man, if I were to go buy a car with 2 Bitcoin, what's to say that Bitcoin isn't going to go up next week $10,000 per coin?
Ooh.
And I've just spent the week before, 2 Bitcoin with what I could have got for half of that, because the values fluctuate so much. And that's what I mean by the actual stored value. Even though I do insist that there is stored value in crypto, the question is how much from week to week, because it's very volatile. So that's
And
my problem with it.
and with gold, like you said, I believe gold hit a record high this week,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everybody's rushing the gold. Obviously, silver, Bitcoin. But
Yeah.
please, people, please do not rush into Kodak. I saw what happened a couple of days ago with the Kodak. It went up to
Yeah, what's
like
up?
2,000, 3,000%, something ridiculous like that.
You
And
didn't buy you some Kodak, Junior? Come on, man.
I didn't think it was still publicly trading in the market. I was like shocked. I was like, Jesus, 2,000%. I was like, maybe I should just put this 5,000 now and see where it goes.
Yeah. So
Gold.
Ark is killing it. I haven't taken so much abuse on the channel. That's all right, man. Sometimes the more abuse you take on YouTube, the better the video does. And that certainly wasn't my intent by pointing out what I did in the video. There's been money managers that have come and gone that have killed it in the market. And
Mhm.
I said, basically, it comes down to a very simple decision: invest or invest not. If you want to invest in these ETFs, great. I wish you all the best in making some money. That's lovely. The question becomes, this is where money managers want to frame an argument every time they talk about justifying expenses. Now, the verdict is still out whether or not Cathie Wood can, uphold this outperformance for the long term.
Mhm.
And a lot of people are arguing that she can. She very well might do it. Okay. That's not really the point. if you frame the argument within a 5-year time span, there have been money managers that have clobbered the market. But when you start to extend it beyond that, and the extent or the impact of fees are felt on a broader time horizon, that's where the impact starts to come into play. That's all. And they are killing it. It's fun. I watch them. That's great. What if Tesla ends up at 500 or 600, which is where it should be? Is ARK going to go up? No, it's not. It's come on, guys, open your mind a little bit. And if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the wealth was made by some very, very well-timed Bitcoin investments by ARK Invest. So that's what I would do if I made billions of dollars. I would start my own ETF company and start managing it and sell it to people.
Well, I mean, everyone's been talking about ARK. I personally have VTI in my taxable account, the Vanguard Total Stock Market. So I like that. I mean, they are killing it. I mean, Tesla. I don't know why these big hedge fund managers, they still short Tesla. I don't understand for the life of me why they keep trying to short Tesla. Just stay away from it. It's just
leave it alone.
What is it, like $1,500 right now or something like that? I know it's just been skyrocketing every week. Every week is something. It's
funny. Yeah. And I've taken abuse on Tesla too. It's funny. I think Tesla's going to go up long term. I really do. I just think that's anything less than that. If you're less than long Tesla, you're not figuring it out correctly. You're not, because in the short term, this stock might go down, and that's fine. But I know JMax in the group here. I know JMac bought one share of Tesla. I like that move. I really do. I think long term, I think it's great. There's only one Tesla out there, and it's quite obvious. I don't think there's a more beloved stock in the stock market than Tesla. And you want to talk about seeing what the effect of in a stock that's in favor is? Look no further than Tesla. It's come off its recent high here a little bit, so the verdict is still out whether or not it's going to correct back a little bit and find a little support. But I think Tesla will be fine long term. I do.
Yeah, it's definitely better than 𝑪𝑎𝑛𝓋𝑎, right?
I don't think that comparing those two even belong in the same sentence. I really do. I think one is a lot of myth and one is a lot of reality.
Yeah. And I always respect, because I don't have Tesla, but I always love to hear the story. And I know people that are long Tesla, and I respect them for that. And, no matter what, always said my 39 Apple shares about to become 156.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Okay, that's right, man. For real. That's the cool part about when, the stock split aspect of it is, you figure if 156 turns into even 75% of its current value, goes up to 300 a share, because it's going to invoke a lot of buying. It is. People are going to look at it and they're going to be like, oh, it looks like it's inexpensive, which isn't true. So it will psychologically invoke buying, especially in Apple.
It's what the price to earning ratio is, what, about 33 PE, right? Something like that, 30 to 33.
It could be. I don't know if it was over 30. High 20s seems more realistic, but you might be right. I don't know. It's went parabolic. I haven't looked at it for a while.
Facebook around like 33, 30. So they're kind of, I know Apple's a little lower, but they're right around the same range. Amazon is that PE's always been high. But at the
275, I think, something like that.
Yeah, but they've been consistent. They've been on a tear. They've been on a tear for years. So don't bet against Amazon. I mean, I have Amazon myself, like a fractional share. I just don't have enough to get the full share. So in due time. Not, I'm in no rush.
Nah, no reason to be in a rush. There's a good company, Pepsi. You bet.
Yeah. Pepsi. Yeah, I mean, I don't have Pepsi, but I never looked at Pepsi the way I looked at Coke before, and now I understand why Pepsi. A lot more people love Pepsi than Coke. There's a diversified with the snacks, Frito-Lay's.
QQQ is doing well. QQQ is on fire.
Yeah.
So J-Mac's taking a drink of his beer, I think, on behalf of his wife. I think his wife owns it, which is it's a good holding to put into a retirement account and just sit on it forever.
The tech, what's that called again? That's the tech, right?
NASDAQ. NASDAQ 100.
Yeah, the winners win. That's where it's at. Winners are the tech,
Yeah,
because
they're not all tech companies. It's a fairly diversified,
Mhm.
centric top heavy tech, but there's some non-tech plays in there as well. I like it. I think it's really good. It's performed quite well. It's a great diversified ETF, and quite frankly, that's really where the masses need to be looking. The single stock game. Give yourself a little bit of a chance. Get
Yeah.
get some ETFs, and that's a good place to start. I'm moving away a little bit with how the S&P is changing so much
Mhm.
and being so top heavy in the top few companies.
Yeah.
Is it a diversified index? Yes, but the majority of the S&P is underperforming right now, being carried by just a few. And
Yeah.
that's not the broad strength in the market that we want to see. So Lorianne Locke says my favorite YouTubers are in here. So there you go, Junior. She loves you, man. You got to start that. You got to start that channel of yours, man.
Yeah. Me and
I
my girl,
appreciate
we'll start it soon. So me and my girlfriend, we've been talking about it. So in due time, when
it. Yep, for sure, man. Anyway, man, I'm gonna close down the stream, my brother. I got like 5 more minutes, and really
yeah,
appreciate you stopping by, man. You popped in, said you hadn't been on for a while, and you hadn't. So, but you're part of the community, Junior. You know that. You know
I,
your day-to-day activity. You're a hard worker, man. You're working, and this investing thing is just what I think it should be, and that's working for you while you're working hard. And that's a
yeah,
good way of thinking about it. It's a cool way of validating investing, I think, and I think you look at it the same. So, congratulations on all those tech earnings, man. You lucky bummer. Have another Corona.
yes, I will. Man. I thank you, Ryan, for having me on. I appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend and everybody else on the live stream as well.
For will, man. Thanks, Junior. Be well. All right. Be safe.
Well, you
Take
too.
easy, man. Yep. So very cool. I'll keep scrolling down here, and is that Texas Instrument? Sure. Justin Roberts. Yeah, that's a good one. For show. I do like Broadcom. That's a good one. AVGO. That's a good one in the chip space. I think Nvidia is the only technology chip that I've got right now in the aggressive, and that's run up very, very heavily. But Lamb has been good. Micron looks good. Lots of chip space, but I would take Broadcom. I think that's my number one choice right here for sure. It says Apple's gunning for the 2T. Yeah, it sure is. It's amazing. I would have never thought that it would have ran that fast through the $1 trillion mark and staring down 2 trillion. It's just hard to wrap your mind around that amount of money in value. Really is. But fun to see, man. Very cool. Is not 600 anymore. That's right. Today's the day, right? Today's the day of expiry. That is true. AK says Apple's my retirement stock. It's a stock that you can buy and own forever. Contrary to what the independent investor did over the last 2 weeks, man. That's all right. I zigged while the market zagged. That's all. That's all right. We'll live to fight another day. It's all good. I got Becky in the group here. This is a great show, Ryan and Junior. Fantastic. I'd take this opportunity. Junior's always been a staunch supporter of the channel and means a lot to me. I did have a couple guests pop in to the live stream before and kind of share their story with me. And that was really cool. I really appreciate that too. Really kind of speaks to why I do this channel. Trying to break down, there's a lot more people out there that just need to know introductory information on the stock market than there is that needs to find the next best stock in the stock market. I just think that speaks to fewer of an audience for sure. As interesting as it might be, absolutely, you need to be prepared to enter into that level of investing. So I appreciate Junior helping me further discussion on tonight's live stream. Absolutely. So I'll give a shout out to my boys here, man. Kyle and Matt probably are going to foster the discussion and keep it going as well. They're probably queuing up their live stream. I really want to thank everybody who made their way into the live stream tonight for sure. Been super busy. Be patient with the Independent Investor channel. You guys know I go through periods of motivation where I take breaks from YouTube. It keeps me fresh. It keeps me motivated. When I come back, I'm re-energized, and really appreciate that flexibility. Mr. Giffen's in the group here. Hope all's well with you, my friend. Very cool. And then GW Life TV as well is one of my featured channels now, man. So I was glad to do that. I wish I could have done it for a lot more too. Dan was in that discussion, and some of these other folks, and some of the folks that I had in there for a long time. I just rotated them out, not for any other reason except for I just wanted to give a chance to some of these other folks to maybe grab a few subscribers and exposure. Dan with Ethos Investing was in the discussion, and Ryan Giffen as well. Those guys were right there at the top, and I just couldn't fit everybody in there, and that's fine. Maybe eventually I'll get everybody rotated through, but appreciate everybody. What a week. Fantastic. I'm sure next week is going to deliver as much excitement as this week as we continue to grow and evolve as an investors. Passive income made easy. All right. Don't make this gig more difficult than it needs to be. Your success in the market's going to be predicated upon your ability to establish a plan and stick to that plan. It's not really going to be your reliance on that perfect portfolio that's going to get you to the promised land. It's going to be a deliberate, disciplined approach to the market that's going to get you there. Make no mistake about it. So I wish everybody the best. Have a great, great weekend. We'll catch you next Friday on the Independent Investor Channel live stream. You guys take it easy. Be well. Be safe. We'll catch you next week. Thanks a ton, guys.